Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission.
I look at it as like strategic being a youth pastor. I mean, teenagers come to Christ quicker. They spread the
Absolutely.
gospel faster and farther than adults. They can reach more with their social media than the average pastor could reach a year, right?
Yeah.
Super strategic. So we need to mobilize. We need to help youth leaders have a strategic model that matches the strategic generation. And right now, it's fun and games. It's a model. Like what I tell people is, I was like, we've inherited a box full of stuff, and that box is called youth ministry. And in that box, you have pizza, you have dodgeball, you have games, you have Bible lessons. There's a lot of good stuff in the box. I'm not a guy that says dump the box, burn the box. I'm like, hey, let's create room in the box for these 7 values. They have games, play dodgeball. Dodgeball is a perfect analogy for life, right? Run.
Yeah.
But make
Sounds like
sure
there's some
these
stories
7,
there too.
yeah, yeah, make sure these values are in there. And then if those youth leaders become gospel advancing, then they become eventually maybe gospel advancing lead pastors, which is great because they're youth pastors like Yankee was, with budget and an authority.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they can make sure the youth ministry is funded and focused, and make sure that they hire the right people to become those youth leaders. So I actually think youth leaders, you ever see the movie The Untouchables with Sean Connery and Kevin Costner? I'll set it up.
I can't remember.
1930s, Al Capone,
Oh,
Chicago.
yeah. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Sean
My
Connery.
mind went immediately
Yeah.
to India when you were talking about that. So I got thrown off.
So the Kevin Costner plays Elliot Ness, who's a federal agent to stop all the mob, and Sean Connery plays the role of the one good cop, and they can't find any other good cops, and Kevin Costner asks character Elliot Ness asks Sean Connery, how do we find a good cop? And Sean Connery, in his Scottish brogue, said, if you can't find a good apple in the barrel, go to the tree. And they go to the rookie training center, and they find young cops that have not yet been corrupted.
Wow.
And that's what youth pastors are. Youth pastors that have not yet been institutionalized, that are
It's
ready,
a blank slate.
they're twitching.
Yeah.
A blank slate. And they got in, I think down deep inside, most youth leaders, they got into youth ministry because they love Jesus and
Absolutely.
they love teenagers and they want to make the connection. They want this. When I talk to youth leaders, around the world, I've seen this. There's a hunger in their eyes to make a difference. It's just over time, it's easy to fall into the system. We're like, hey, let's create room in the box for these 7 values.
Absolutely.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join his mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.